Hello everyone. In this video, I would like to talk to you about the very significant jury award that was filed today in the district court in New Jersey in a case named Phillips versus Starbucks. And that award was for $25.6 million in favor of Shannon Phillips. And that was a race discrimination case. And I would just like to point out what I believe is behind such a significant award, because that award largely consisted of punitive damages. It was $25 million in punitive damages and only $600,000 in compensatory damages for wage loss and for emotional distress. So why do I think the jury was so upset at Starbucks that they threw $25 million at Phillips? Well, as you know, that case involved a racially charged incident at Starbucks in April of 2018, where there were two black men who came into the store. They refused to leave. Some other manager at Starbucks asked them to leave. They wouldn't, so they called the police. Eventually, that led to an uproar and some protests outside Starbucks, where Starbucks actually settled with those two customers, and they also promised to do a bunch of stuff to raise awareness about racial justice in their stores and in their company culture. But anyway, the reason I believe the jury was so angry at Starbucks in this particular case is because here Shannon Phillips, who was an excellent worker of Starbucks for over 13 years, who received a bunch of promotions, who received every bonus and every merit increase possible, who was really a valuable asset to the company, to Starbucks, she was basically scapegoated. They found an excuse, some relatively minor complaint, and they fired her. I think they fired another white employee when a few other employees who also received similar complaints but who were black, they not only they were not fired, but they were not even disciplined. And one of those employees testified, one of those black employees testified in support of Phillips. And he said, yes, I'm black and I wasn't disciplined for a similar complaint. And I believe it is because of race. I was treated favorably because I'm black, and they were treated less favorably and they were fired because they were white. So I believe the jury was angry because of this type of knee-jerk reaction by Starbucks after that incident that was all over the media, and after they decided to scapegoat Phillips, the white employee, and engage in blatant reverse discrimination against a white employee. So instead of doing a real investigation, getting to the bottom of what happened, taking their time, they just decided to hurry and say, hey, we got to show we're doing something. So we're just going to take this employee, and we're just going to come up with an excuse to fire them because they're white. We're going to show to the world that we took action against white employees, and we definitely are not going to discipline, let alone fire, black employees in a similar situation. Now, it's interesting that Starbucks tried to defend the case in at least two very unconvincing ways, which probably further contributed to the jury's frustration with Starbucks. First, Starbucks tried to argue that Phillips was a bad employee and she was terminated for bad performance. But there is zero documentation about any issues with her performance. No criticisms, no complaints from coworkers or customers, nothing. Everything was good. Everything was flattering throughout those 13 years. So that didn't work. And that sounded not very truthful. The second argument that Starbucks made is because Phillips was replaced by a white male, they say it couldn't have been race discrimination. Phillips was white. The worker who replaced her was white. So where is the race discrimination here? And the court said that under the law, it's not a defense. The fact that you replace someone with a member of the same race doesn't mean that they were not discriminated and they were not treated differently because of their race. So that didn't work for Starbucks either. But going back to the key point here, again, I would like to emphasize that I have a strong feeling that the knee-jerk reaction, in addition to scapegoating a random innocent employee who happened to be a great worker for many years, that led a jury to the desire to punish Starbucks and to remind them that that's not something you do just for your PR, just to make yourself look good. You don't try to make yourself look good on the account of innocent, hardworking, dedicated employees while also discriminating against them in a manner of reverse discrimination on the basis of their race.